causes this to arise in us. It literally boils up from the foundations of our bodies before it finally enters into our mind. Once our fears enter our minds, we lose power over them. We become afraid of a story. Every time fear arises in us, it gives us the excellent opportunity to observe the story that we are telling ourselves and believing. The story that there's someone or something out to get us. The story that we're not adequate. The story that we are something. Why do fools believe that they are something when there is no thing? When the whole universe is no thing? Where in our lives are we fools of a story that we are telling ourselves? I just need to. Or what about this, that, and the other, and then I'll be happy? I can't do that, or that's not appropriate, and so on. All day long, we believe the story of our conditioned thinking and lose our freedom to be, and to do ourself. That is, what we feel like doing, what our heartstrings are leading and guiding us to do. In every story we tell ourselves, and fear, it's our fear that gives power to that story, so that we fall and become a victim of it. The spirit has not fear. It is only our animal, our physical body, that fears. Look at your animal like you would a pet. You feed him or her, you take care of them, making sure they are warm, comfortable, and so on. But we are also fully responsible for making our animal afraid. The animal may be uncertain about certain conditions. If it gets really windy outside, the child may ask his mother if they are safe, if the house is going to blow down. Thus the story in his mind. The mother comforts her son and tells him that it is only the wind, and so he calms down. The fear returns to its base, and he is happy again. Fear can become an intense passion to seek comfort, security, and so on. We do not want to be afraid. Trust, our natural state of being, is the opposite of fear. And having this faith in ourself and in life, knowing that everything is as it should be, without desire or aversion for what is experienced right now to be any different than it is, that is a total surrender. Then fear totally loses its power. We no longer believe the story about what is. We are truly open to receiving what really is. When the strong winds in our life blow, instead of getting worked up, working that fear into our minds, we surrender to the breeze without labeling it, without believing a story about it, so that we do not fear it. While most of our fear begins as a story in the mind, our animals can be startled. The spirit does not startle, the animal does. For example, when hearing a loud noise, the animal goes to us when it has been startled, and we must comfort him or her. It is our job to keep the animal from being afraid. We cannot stop the animal from startling. The fear rises quickly, and when it enters the mind, it becomes the story. And if we tell and believe a story in our mind about the noise, "Oh, that must have been a gunshot. I'm at risk of being shot," then the animal will move from startling to a full fear response. By the time the fear has risen into the mind, we are already believing the story that we told ourselves. When that, likely, we act out our fear, depending on the conditions thereof. If fear has arisen, and we realize it, then we have the opportunity to change that. We simply ask, what story am I believing now? Oh, that gunshot makes me afraid of being shot. Or if it was a gunshot at all. The law of attraction is also referred to as karma. Karma means cause and effect. It points to a direct relationship to the cause that we hold in our minds and its manifestation in our lives. They say it's like this. All of our lives are experiences of a direct manifestation of our karma. But we often ask how our bad fortune is a cause of our karma. they would say that it was because of a past life, but I prefer the other story about karma and how we keep it balanced. The story of an old farmer who was working his crops for many years. One day his horse ran away. Upon hearing the news, the neighbors came to visit and said, "Such bad luck?" "Maybe," the farmer replied. The next morning, the horse returned, bringing with it 3 other wild horses. "How wonderful!" the neighbors exclaimed. "Maybe," replied the man. The following day, his son tried to ride one of the untamed horses and was thrown and broke his leg. The neighbors again returned to offer their sympathy. "Oh, such misfortune!" "Maybe," answered the farmer. The day after, military officers came to the village to draft young men for the army. Seeing that his son's leg was broken, they passed him by. The neighbors congratulated the farmer. "That was sure lucky." "Maybe," said the farmer. This illustrates the Taoist modality known as Wu Wei, a state of balance that is like a scale. A warrior who cultivates Wu Wei has no fear. He takes everything lightly. No experience or situation in his life has any more importance, and everything is safe to experience. No matter how much the mind worries, which is based on the comparisons of current conditions to past experiences in order to avoid pain and to protect against annihilation. Life has been thoroughly prepared for us to live, and to surrender to its flow, without fear, but faith instead. So he puts nothing on the scale at all, no good, no bad, and therefore it is always balanced and he never suffers. Fear is a state of non-balance. The scales have been totally tipped in the direction of, "This sucks, I wish things were different." Just another story being believed in the mind. Balance is thrown off, and you fell for that trick. You took the bait and believed a liar. There are always exactly the way they were, and exactly the way they are supposed to be. The lover's rock is the anchor in the storm. No matter what is going on in the background of our lives, there is a presence to hold on to. There is one on the inside and one on the outside, yin and yang. Our job is to become fully conscious of both and to connect the two. Not just being fully one or the other. Yes, you need to find your inside body, your yin side body, spirit body, and also remain anchored in our foundation of the one body, the one self. And your breathing is an excellent tool. A tool is something that we keep handy, or keep in our hand, and that you can cut through the veil with, like you would with a sharp knife in your hand whilst you are hunting. All that is required is non-interpretive awareness of it, without trying to change anything about it. Awareness spotlit on the breath yields the animal's increased air intake as an instinctual manner, without having to attempt to change it. In and out are not separate. We pierce through the left and the right blinders by going straight through the center, which is parting the seas, or the part to see. At the same time, both hemispheres in unison of the brain perceiving and living life fully. The next stage from which the cultivation of background awareness throughout the day, that unshakable lover's rock, is not just to be ever-presently tuned to the Tao, but be unshakable. We have to realize that the voice that tells us stories was a fear projection flashing into our head. It will be there regardless. We just shall not fall for it anymore. You can choose simply to stop listening to the story, as I did, and this works for a time. It clears our field of awareness totally. However, the illusionary self that is created by the voice will not disintegrate until we face it head-on. We cannot turn our back on fear, or worry about what will come through the mirror next. We look straight at the face of the voice of fear and laugh. Fear has one interesting quality. It is like every other production out here on the stage that is life, upon which we act, is that it cannot hold up against humor and good spirits. I will leave you with the following clip from the television show My Little Pony, which illustrates the power that laughter has in our lives to lighten our load and to put away fear for good.
Well, I didn't mean that literally. That ancient ruin could be right in front of our faces and we wouldn't even know it. I didn't see you there. It's my apologies. Right here. Oh, wait. I think I stepped in something. It's just mud. Pinky, what are you doing? Run!
Oh, girls, don't you see? When I was a little filly and the sun was going down.
Tell me she's not.
The darkness and the shadows, they would always make me frown.
She is.
I'd hide under my pillow from what I thought I saw. But Grammy Pie said that wasn't the way to deal with fears at all.
Then what is?
She said, Pinky, you gotta stand up tall. Learn to face your fears. You'll see that they can't hurt you. Just laugh to make them disappear. Ha, ha, ha. So giggle at the ghostly, guffaw at the grossly, crack up at the creepy, whoop it up with the weepy, chortle at the kooky, snortle at the spooky. Tell that victim scary face to take a hike and leave you alone. And if he thinks he can scare you, then he's got another thing coming. And the very idea of such a thing just makes you wanna
Spirit blessings and namaste.